Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel, and today we're going to be doing a book review on Origin by Jennifer L. Armentrout. So obviously, can't tell you much about this book because it is the fourth book in the Lux Chronicles, so if you want to know more about it, you can watch my Obsidian book review that I'm going to leave in the description. As always, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and click that bell notification so you don't miss out on when I post. And without further ado, let's get into the video. So, because Damon and Katie are unfortunately separated, we have this book in dual POV with Katie and Damon. And if you don't know, I love Damon's point of view. I read Oblivion, the entire Oblivion on my Kindle, and I read it within 3 days. So obviously I love Damon's point of view, so I was really happy to see it. And it was so majestic. And it was so amazing. Just like him. Okay, so let's pick up with Damon. So, Damon obviously is going to pull a Dawson and try to get Katie back. So, they decide to put Damon in captivity with the colony. And they basically have these rooms outfitted with onyx so that they can't escape. But somehow, Damon has the willpower and the strength to escape. Ethan confronts him and is like, well, if you go after her, you know you're no friend of ours. And he says, so be it. So he leaves, goes back to his house before he tells his brother and sister goodbye for a final time, takes Matthew's car because it's going to be less recognized, and heads to Lux. Now, in the process of heading to Lux, he meets an Arum, and he also gets introduced to Paris, and we'll learn more about that later in this last book. But for right now, just hold on to that. So, obviously, he confronts Luck. He's like, did you know? Did you know what would happen? And Katie is obviously not with me, and I want her back. And so Luck says, look, I know where she is. She's in Area 51, which is ironic, by the way. And he says, if you get the LH11, I have a way to get you out, because I have inside people. And so that is the plan. David is going to turn himself in, which is stupid, but he loves her, so I guess he'll burn down the world to save her. So he does that. And he's going to find the LH11, and they're going to get out through their inside man. So now let's flash to Katie, and Katie is getting integrated into this unfortunate and terribly invasive environment. So she wakes up, and she finds herself in a medical room, and it's outfitted with onyx, and they're like, we need to do all these tests. And she's like, well, I don't consent to any of this, obviously. And they're like, well, you're a threat to the national security. So as soon as you became mutated, you lost all rights to yourself and your body. And at this point, I'm like, wow, this is illegal. Okay, this is not right. People have rights, okay? I took psychology last year and studying all these experiments and all these unfortunate things that society did. And I can see that this is the exact direction that the DOD is heading. And I'm like, this is not right. And so they do all these invasive procedures, and they're like, oh, by the way, you're not pregnant. And at that point, I'm like, ooh, they want her to be. But I didn't know why. I didn't remember why until later. But they do all these invasive procedures. She has no control over it. And the only person that has any slight hint of being nice is Archer, her personal bodyguard. And when she's hungry, he actually takes her to go get food before he has to take her to see the operations. So, in order to get Katie on their side to understand the purpose of the DOD capturing her, Nancy Husher and like the big army guy, the surgeon, I think it's Dasher, but I really don't remember, so don't quote me on that. They take her around and they take her to see cancer patients because they know her dad has cancer, and they're using it as a weak spot to say, look, we're healing people with this LH11, and these are Luxans who are willing to give us. And then they have these Luxans that look very nice and peaceful, and then bam, 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 we have a problem with Area B, Section B. Please come in, please help, let us know. So in order to assess if Katie's mutation held, they decide to give her stress tests, which involves pairing her against other mutated humans and letting them fight to the death, if you will, Hunger Games style. So obviously Katie's like, I'm not gonna fight them. This is wrong. How dare you try to pair me against them? Until they put Blake in. And when they put Blake in, it's crazy. Katie loses it. And in all of her anger, she kills Blake. And I will say that while I'm sad to see that that she had to go through all this stress and this emotional turmoil and she thinks less of herself, I'm glad Blake is gone. Because he was a bad person, a bad influence, and just a terrible human being. Just terrible. Damon turns himself in to be with Katie. And he says, if you let me see Katie and let me be with Katie, I will do whatever you want me to do. And so that involves him healing Katie, even healing her to the point where her back has been like sliced open, and then he has to heal regular humans. But before then, we have an outbreak in Section B. Clean up on aisle 9. They've got out. The origins have gotten out. Please, Radio 9 or 101. That happens. And Katie's like, what is this? So, in another way to brainwash Katie into seeing their side, they tell Katie that there are hundreds of thousands of Luxan ready to invade the Earth. And while I'm like, but there are billions of us, then I think of how powerful we are and how powerful they are, and it's not an even match at all. So then Damon and Katie are reunited and it's beautiful, and this is when Nancy breaks the news of why Damon and Katie share a bathroom, and it's because they want Katie to get pregnant. Because origins. Thus, the title of the book. Origins are the result of a mutated human girl with a Luxan guy, and they are breeding them in the DoD because they want to have an army they can control. But they can't control it because, yeah, the cleanup on aisle 9, that was the Origins trying to break out. And the Origins are little kids with advanced brain power and the ability to read your mind. And they also reveal that the only reason why the only guard between Katie and Damon is Archer is because Archer himself is an Origin. And then that's where it clicks. Luck is also an Origin. So this one, Katie's like, And Archer's like, we have a mutual friend. And that is when it's revealed that Archer, even though I knew it all along, well, I guess that's hindsight bias, but whatever, that Archer is the inside man. And Katie, while Damon is forced to heal another human, takes him LH11, and that is when Archer, Damon, and Katie make their escape. Boom, 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 boom. They release the Origins, they incite mass chaos, they flip some Hummers, they run through the speed of, they run so fast, they crash at a motel in Vegas, and then they're free. Yay. My baby's free. So now, Luck picks him up. Luck picks him up with Paris and Archer, and they head to his secret, to a colony that he knows about, which is in Vegas. And at this point, I'm like, ooh, Vegas. What do people do in Vegas? They get married. Damon is looking at Katie's fingers like, oh, her hand, it's so barren. I think she needs a ring. Ooh, what am I thinking? When Luck pulls up to the place in Vegas, guess who is there? None other than Dee, Dawson, Bethany, Matthew, Ash, and Andrew, and they're staying in this bougie mansion. It's so bougie, so extravagant, so elegant. Yes. So then, obviously they're in Vegas. Damon and Katie get married, but they have to get married because they have new identities. They get married under the names, under the Sweet Evil trilogy names, and I'm like, ooh, a reference to YA within YA. We love the support. And when Dee sees Archer, Dee and Archer kind of hit it off. So, ooh. But because Archer and Luck can read minds, they look at Matthew and they're like, how could you? And why would you? And how long do we have? And Matthew's like, I have no choice. And Luck's like, you better tell him before we do. And Matthew says, oh yeah, the DoD are coming here to pick up Katie and Damon. And I had to do it just like last time. So that means he was the one that turned in Dawson and Bethany. And Dawson doesn't play that, okay? Okay? Bethany, which you find out later, is pregnant. So he doesn't have time for that. So he kills Matthew. And everyone's like, oh my goodness, it's crazy. But at this point, they know they have to go because the DOD is on their way. So they all get their stuff. You know, David has to speed upstairs to get their marriage license, even though it's under fake names. And they have to try to escape Vegas. Also, side note, I remembered Matthew was a snake. Just didn't remember how much of a snake he was. So yeah, anyway, Dawson tells Damon that Bethany is preggers, which we know all along because she was really tired. And who gets really tired once you're a Luxan or a mutated? I still really don't like the term mutated. Let's think of other names. I like enhanced. You know, beneficially enhanced. But you can do what you think in the description. So, trying to get out of Vegas. And at this point, Damon's like, we've got to expose ourselves. Because the only advantage that the DOD has is that the human civilization has no idea that we exist. So at this point, they decide to go full Luxan. And everyone steps out, everyone takes on their blinding light phase, and they're doing things, but they're not hurting people because that is the one rule, they're not hurting people. And so the news helicopter swings by, and they're recording everything, but the government doesn't like that. So the DOD shoots the news helicopter down. But it doesn't matter because in the age of technology, even though this was 5 years ago, everyone's recording, and this is going to be on YouTube like that. Just like this is. I know, it's cheesy. So, then they release the little cannons, that one blast and it's over for all Luxan and all mutated, which is crazy. They mean business. Paris died, and that's what set Luke off. Once Paris died, Luke said, y'all all about to go. They also released the Aram, and in this process, both Ash and Andrew die. And it's really sad because even though we mostly read from Katie's point of view, we didn't really care about them, we didn't really like them, they sacrificed themselves for Beth and for everyone else to get out safely, and that made my heart swell. They go to another one of Lux's secret locations that is outfitted with the quartz they need to be hidden from the Aram, and shooting stars start falling, except they're not shooting stars, they're Luxan. And Damon, Dee, and Dawson lose control of their human forms. They switch into their Luxan form. Because they're around so many Luxan present, they take on the group and they have this mob mentality, and so they conform with the group and then they disappear, leaving Katie, Bethany, Archer, and Luck. And I'll see you next time when I read Opposition. As always, make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and click that bell notification so you don't miss out on when I post. If you need something to tell you over, feel free to watch my other videos. See you next time. Bye!